Welcome to your Yin yoga practice. Always an honor to be here to guide you and to practice with you. So I can't speak for you, of course, but for me, I'm really just at the end of the bulk of my day. It's early evening. I'm on the cusp of transitioning from what was a busy day into what hopefully will be just a lovely evening leading into a beautiful sleep later on. And at this point, I'm feeling quite tired. And before I just barge right on in and make that transition into this other part of my day, I find it quite nourishing to take a pause. And just turn inward. Spend some time to nourish my mind and my body. And then re-emerge from the practice, hopefully feeling a little bit rested, a little bit almost like I had taken a nap, and refreshed and ready to take on the rest of the day. So I designed this practice with exactly that in mind, and I hope you enjoy. So today I would recommend the use of a bolster. I'm sitting on mine currently. It's always nice to lift the seat a little bit. But if you don't have a bolster at home, no worries. You can always take a blanket and kind of roll it up like this, like a little blanket burrito. And then that will be a beautiful substitute for any need for a bolster at all. It'll just give you a little cushion that you can raise yourself up. And of course, you could also always use a pillow as well. So we'll start in child's pose. And take your blanket or your bolster or your cushion and just lay it in front of you, like so. And you can snug right up to it with your knees on either side and bring your toes together. Gently walk yourself forward on your hands so you can rest your chest down onto the bolster. And when you get here, there's the option to rest your chin, if that feels okay for your neck, on the bolster. You can rest your forehead, or you can turn your head and rest it to one side or the other. Wherever you are, just firmly feeling the tops of your feet, your shins and your knees. Your arms, your wrists, your hands, just firmly rooted into the ground beneath you. Start to really get heavy in these points, in these touch points of support. Almost like you can feel yourself just being held by the earth below, well supported. And then take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Take a second sip when you get to the top. And then exhale through the mouth, side out. Good, do that again. Inhale through the nose. Second inhale at the top. And sigh it out through the mouth. Good, do that 3 more times just on your own. And as you inhale deeply, and you exhale, you can imagine sending all the weight that you're carrying from your day, everything that's burdened you up until this point, just sending that energy into the ground. allowing the ground to take the weight of this for a little while, knowing that it can handle it, knowing that it's here to support you. And then just come back to a natural rhythm of breath. If you are resting one cheek against the bolster, then go ahead and just gently lift your head so you can turn your other cheek down, creating a little balance in the neck. About 3 more deep breaths in this posture. And then very gently push into your hands, lift your chest back up. Just place the bolster off to the side for a moment. We'll use it again shortly. Bring your knees together, your hips over your knees, and then slowly, just without moving your hips, walk your hands forward in space until you can lower your chest down between your shoulders like puppy pose. If this is very intense for the shoulders, you can always take your bolster and lower your chest down onto that instead. Never any wrong answers in terms of your preferred use of your props. It's absolutely up to you. Gently lower yourself down. You can rest your chin on the mat if that feels okay with your neck. Otherwise, the forehead can rest on the mat. Again, option always to use a prop. You could put your bolster in front of your head and rest it on there. And then otherwise, just relax into the posture here as best as you can. Be here for a couple of minutes. The thing about this practice of Yin Yoga is that it really asks of us to pay attention. Pay attention to our bodies and our minds and our breath. Some of these postures can be really quite intense for the body, especially when we're holding them for quite a long time. So the practice really asks of us to find our edge, find a place where we notice sensation, but also to pay attention to the quality of the breath and the quality of the mind. If the breath becomes really rapid or really almost stuck feeling, it's a good sign that you've gone a little bit too far too quickly. The same is true of the quality of the thoughts. If you feel a little anxiety flare up or a sense of frustration, always the option to notice this and, without judging it, instead note it as an opportunity, as a sign from your body, your mind, your spirit, to just back off a little bit, back to that point of gentle sensation. And while it might not be exactly comfortable, it's at least met with a sense of ease. The sense that you can allow yourself to relax into this position for a few moments. Two more deep breaths here. And then gently, gently push into your hands, lift yourself back up. And then this time we'll lower our hips towards the ground. Allow your forearms, excuse me, to come to the ground as well, to find Sphinx pose. Again, this one can be quite the intense compression for the lower back, especially holding it for several minutes. So if it feels nourishing in your body, again, grab for your bolster and just allow your body to lower down onto the bolster. I like to have it around like the top of the hips, belly region. And you can also have it right underneath of your rib cage. So invitation to play around with what feels good in your body. So you use the first few moments of finding your posture to play around with it a little bit, to find that point of sensation, to resist the urge of pushing into that sensation. But instead accepting and softening into it. Always allow the breath to flow smoothly in and out. Allowing the breath to bring softness somewhere where tension is not needed. Maybe it's in your shoulders. Perhaps you're clenching your jaw. 3 more deep breaths here. And then gently come onto one hand and then the other to push yourself back up to a tabletop position. Option to just gently sway the hips a little bit one side and to the other. Just moving very, very slowly. And then take your left leg, kick it out behind you, and then bring it through. So your knee comes behind your left wrist and your left foot goes out to the right, any amount, coming into pigeon pose. So especially because we'll be holding this longer than we would in a flow class, I mean even then, but especially now, it's very important to make sure that our hips are both pointing forwards and we aren't kind of dumping over onto, on this side, it would be the left hip. Quite a tendency to do that. So you want even weight through both legs, even though they're doing different things. And it can always be very supportive to grab your bolster and just kind of wedge it underneath of your hip for an extra support. Always lots of things that we can do with our props. Or option to bring it out in front of you like we did in child's pose. Take a nice deep inhale into your hips. Fill up your entire upper inner body with breath. And then go ahead and exhale through the mouth. Soften the hips. One more time, inhale. Take a second sip at the top. And exhale through the mouth. Soft hips, and gently lower your upper body down towards the ground, any amount. Either all the way to the ground or you can rest on a bolster. Again, find any position for your head that feels supportive and comfortable. And as best as you can, allow your entire body to ease itself into this pose. To soften into the hips. And to let go of anything that does not serve you here. And if you're resting on one side of the face, I'll invite you to turn your head to the other direction, just even out the stretch on the neck here. more breaths. And then use your hands to support you as you push your torso back up. Tuck your back toes, maybe walk your right knee in a little bit, and then gently extend your left leg back behind. Sometimes it can feel nice to just reach it out behind you, a little counter stretch after being scrunched up like that, and then come back to tabletop. Just an opportunity to notice the difference in your body from your left side to the right as you breathe. And then extend your right leg out behind you. Bend your knee, bring your right knee to the back of your right wrist. Foot out to the left any amount, and find yourself in pigeon pose. Whatever variation is the most nourishing possible for your body right now. So you can find rest and some sense of restoration. Take a nice deep inhale. Take a second inhale at the top. And exhale through the mouth, soften the hips. Do that one more time. Inhale through the nose. One more time. And sigh it out. Now slowly start to lower down any amount. And find your most supportive pigeon pose. Gently turn your head in the other direction if you're resting one cheek. Two more breaths here. And slowly push yourself back up. Tuck your toes. Walk your left knee in a little bit just to take the pressure out of your hip. And maybe you stretch your right leg behind you just for a moment. Carefully remove your bolster. Come through seated. And lower all the way down to your back. I like to grab the backs of my legs and then just slowly, slight engagement of the abs as you roll yourself down. And just take a minute when you get here. Arms can spread out wide. If it's comfortable, eyes can be closed if they're not already. And then lift your legs in towards you so that your knees are kind of hovering over top of your hips. And gently lower your knees like this together all the way to the left, coming into a reclined twist. If you find your knees are very far from the ground, again, always the option to slide your block or your blanket underneath just to support. Again, we want sensation, but we do want to feel well grounded and supported so we can also find some ease in these yin postures. And once you've settled and it's safe if it's safe for your neck, I should say, then turn your head towards the right. So if your eyes were open, you would be looking out over your right fingertips. And just knowing that you're doing something so beautiful for yourself right now. Just this idea of taking a mindful rest in between one part of your day and the next. So often we just dart from thing to thing to thing and we feel so burnt out and untethered, or at least I do. My mind gets so frazzled when that's the rhythm of my day. And instead, you're just taking this pause to rest and to reset. To reconnect with the vast inner world. An inner world that certainly changes from moment to moment. Depending on the events that happen in our day, which makes it so important to just take time in between to reconnect, check in. And feel well grounded before you take on whatever's coming next. Well situated in your own body and mind. 2 more breaths here. Just a slight contraction in the abs, engagement in the abs here to help you lift your legs back up. Bring your head back up to center. And then carefully lower your legs over to the right side. Oops, my bolster is in my way. I'll kick it over. And again, just take all the time that you need to really settle and ease into this posture. Two more breaths. And undo this twist. Lift your legs back up. Bring your feet to the ground. Your feet can come as wide as your mat. And allow your knees to just knock in together. And in this sort of constructive rest position, we'll do a short pranayama practice called Viloma. And Viloma means like against the natural way. And it's a very soothing breath, so it's excellent to do before you sleep, or in our case here, it's an excellent thing to do before heading into Shavasana. So to begin, just exhale your breath wherever you are. We'll start together from empty. And then inhale just 1/3 of your lung capacity and pause. Inhale 2/3 of your lung capacity and pause. And then fill your lungs completely. And pause. And long, slow exhale all the way until you're empty. Again, inhale 1/3. Inhale 2/3. And inhale completely full. Long, steady exhale through the nose. Do that one more time. And then when you get to the bottom, take a long, steady inhale through your nose. Fill your lungs up completely. Pause at the top. And then exhale 1/3. Pause. Exhale 2/3. Pause. And exhale, completely empty lungs. And pause. Long inhale through the nose. Pause at the top. Exhale 1/3. 2/3. Empty your lungs. And do that one more time. And then come back to a natural breath rhythm. And simply notice how you feel. Heading towards Shavasana, our final resting pose during this beautiful little pause in our day. I recommend just going ahead and grabbing your bolster, pass it underneath of your knees so they can be a little bit elevated. Grab any layers you need to be warm and cozy, and gently rest yourself back down on the ground. Bring your arms out wide if that's comfortable. Palms face up and eyes are closed. Once again, just notice every part of you that's anchored to the ground. Feel completely rooted in this position, completely supported by the earth beneath you. And allow your entire body to get very heavy. Just lean into this support that's beneath you. And take a few moments of rest. begin to invite a deeper breath back into the body. One that really moves the torso. One that expands the rib cage out as you inhale. So you can really feel the contraction of the rib cage as it pulls and hugs back into the center line. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll the wrists and the ankles. And when you feel ready, you can take a nice big stretch. Arms up overhead. You can point your toes. And with the eyes still closed or the gaze still soft, roll onto one side. And push into your hands to come all the way back up to a seated position. And we'll do one more breath together, just to seal the practice. It's a nice nourishing sigh. So deep inhale through the nose. A second sip when you get to the top. Pause. And sigh it out through the mouth. I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. I hope you feel nourished and well rested and ready to face everything else that comes next. See you soon.